And of course, the president will make his case Tuesday night in a nationwide address. In his interviews with U.S. TV networks, Mr. Obama said he will attempt to explain what it would not mean.
I'll explain this is not Iraq, this is not Afghanistan, this is not even Libya. We're not talking about boots on the ground. We're not talking about sustained airstrikes. We're talking about a very specific set of strikes to degrade his chemical weapons capabilities in terms of delivery.
Robert Schlesinger is the author of White House Ghosts, the Presidents and Their Speech Writers, and is joining us today. Thank you, Robert, for taking some time with us. And again, the developments that have just happened literally in the last 12 hours, the last few hours, sort of changes the conversation about this. So let me start here. How is President Obama's speech, how does it need to be different tonight in view of these latest possible diplomatic alternatives to an airstrike?
Well, it has to be. I don't think they're going to tear up the speech and just start from scratch. I mean, they have their speech. They'll build onto it. They'll add on to it an acknowledgement of these latest developments. They'll add on. The president will, I'm sure, talk about both the hope of these developments and how this could be a good diplomatic solution, but also state very clearly how we have to, as another president like to say, trust but verify, and make sure that this isn't a delaying game, as Kerry said today. But I think we're still going to get the meat of the argument that we would have gotten 24 hours ago about why this is important, and he'll make the case as other people in his administration have today about he'll make a connection and say the threat of strikes and the idea that we're going to do that is why this possible diplomatic solution has presented itself.
And oh, by the way, I'm not sure I said this because I jumped right in. Welcome to Arise America. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here. And
I want to talk about your book, which is fascinating, in just a moment. But let's talk about the speech that is at hand. This is a particular kind of speech. Mr. Obama is not introducing policy. He is trying to persuade public sentiment that is vastly against his own initiative. How does he approach this speech tonight, and what does he have to say to be effective?
I think the clip you played before I came on kind of summed it up, and it's got to be you get the sense that a lot of the public opposition to the prospective policy, to the idea of bombing, is people are tired from Iraq, from Afghanistan, from Libya, and people say, wait a second, are we going to bomb another Middle Eastern country? We don't want to do that, and so he has to do two things. He has to, as he said in the clip, make clear that this is not one of those cases. And also make the broader case of this is important. This is a compelling U.S. national security interest because it's not about just Bashar Assad and the awful things that he's done, and they are terrible. But he has to say there's a broader problem here. There's a broader issue of it's not about Assad, but it's about the next dictator and the dictator after that and the one after that, and making them hesitate before using their chemical weapons or biological weapons or, heaven forbid, nuclear weapons.
And I'm just wondering, very briefly with this answer, what's more important tonight for Mr. Obama? Because we already know that he's a gifted orator. What's more important, the facts, the tone he takes, or his own charisma and personality?
Well, I think anytime you got a president giving a high-stakes speech, it's not one or the other or the other. I mean, you look back at memorable speeches, whether they're about war or about any presidential speech that lingers in history, it's a combination of the man, the moment, and the message. And so he has to deliver a good speech. He has to be his charismatic, persuasive self. But the facts do matter. And he has to make a compelling argument and find a way to punch through and get people's attention.
And generally, how does this process work? How much of, based on what you know about presidential speechwriters, how much of the body of this is created by his team of writers, and how much is his own writing coming directly from him?
Well, there's no doubt a lot of interplay. Obama is a very careful editor and writer. I mean, presidents these days don't have time to, for the most part, sit down and write out speeches by themselves, even high-profile ones like this. But there's no question he's been heavily involved. He probably met with his national security writers before they drafted something, and they talked through what he wanted to say. And he's been, I'm sure, heavily marking up and rewriting draft after draft. And given given the fluidity of events, may still be doing so.
And I just wonder, will he be making those tweaks right up till airtime this evening? Is he the type of president that does that you know of?
He's not the type, typically. I mean, if you look back at someone like Bill Clinton, he would not only be editing speeches in the limousine, editing the State of the Union speech in the limousine up to Capitol Hill, but would then would interpolate and ad lib. Obama likes to have a speech set and frozen well before it's going to be delivered. But this is one of those cases where, because events are unfolding even as we speak, and will continue to unfold up until he goes on the air at 9 o'clock DC time, this is going to be one of those cases where there will be tweaks, one would think, much later than they are ordinarily for his speeches.
We're going to have to stop it right there. Robert Schlesinger, author of White House Ghosts, Presidents and Their Speechwriters. Thanks for being with us today. Maybe we can talk later about some of the many wonderful stories that are in your book. We do appreciate it.
That'd be great.
All right. Moving on to another story. In Florida Monday, another 911 call involving George Zimmerman, the man acquitted of killing teenager Trayvon Martin. His wife, of course, filed for divorce last week. Well, this time it was Zimmerman's wife on the other end of the call with the Lake Mary 911 operator.
911, do you need police, fire, medical?
This is Samantha. Are you police? Way road.
All right, we do have units en route to you, ma'am. Is he still there?
Yes, he is, and he's trying to shut the garage door on me.
Is he inside now?
No, he's in his car, and he continually has his hand on his gun, and he keeps saying, "Step closer." He's just threatening all of us with,
Step closer
with his
what?
firearm, and he's going to shoot us.
Okay.
He punched my dad in the nose. My dad has a mark on his face. I saw his glasses were on the floor. He accosted my father, and then took my iPad out of my hand and smashed it and cut it with a pocket knife. And there's a Lake Mary city worker across the street that I believe saw almost all of it.
Okay.
He's sitting in a truck right now. He just showed up here, but my phone died, so I had to call you from my father's phone.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to get you back, and it kept going to voicemail.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm really
We'll have
afraid.
units in the area where you're at, okay? So just stay on the line with me.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what he's capable of. I'm really scared.
Lake Mary, Florida officers responding to the scene briefly put George Zimmerman in a patrol car. He accused his wife of being the aggressor, and police said that neither she nor her father planned to press charges. In what may be the understatement of the day, George Zimmerman's attorney, Mark O'Mara, said the couple is going through a divorce and should stay away from each other. Understatement indeed. Moving on, U.S. long-distance swimmer Diana Nyad plans to meet a group of fellow endurance swimmers Tuesday to answer skeptics about her record-breaking crossing of the Florida Straits last week. Some long-distance swimmers have taken to social media to question how the 64-year-old swimmer was able to dramatically accelerate her pace during one stretch of the 103-mile swim. They ask whether or not she received help by holding on to support vessels that accompanied her. Nyad's team said in a statement Monday that she planned to meet with her peers in the swimming community to answer all their questions directly. Still an amazing feat, and this is Arise America.